Give me a second.
Scene is set for Perth by night. The new Primogen Council meeting is being set. I've already described how to the players the security here has been. As they enter a room, there is a long boardroom type table. Off to the side, there's a stand for making tea or coffee with a delightful cake provided by the Malkavian Primogen, Mr. Pierce, for some reason. There are nice. There's nice. You can see there's sort of blinds off to the side, which are open. I don't believe anyone succeeded in those Auspex checks. They can correct me in the sidebar, so they might not be finding out in those things. But at one end of the table, the Archon sits at the far end, and he's standing above the chair. He's like, please, take your seats. Tell me, that means, one of the people will notice there's a person obfuscated in each corner of the room. They're standing very vigilant for the person who succeeded.
I'm going to roll int plus my etiquette to figure out where I'm supposed to be sitting.
Do you have a dot in etiquette? I'll give it to anybody who actually has etiquette. Do not sit on the far end because that's probably meant to be for whoever comes prince.
Yay.
Which isn't set yet, so even if you're pretty sure you should be, it might piss off the Archon.
I'll take it into consideration.
That chair is even slightly bigger than the Archon's because it'll be more prestigious. Is like, so nobody's foolish enough to sit in that seat. It's like, I'd like to welcome you all. Where's Primogen? And he nods towards the lone hand and other select representatives of clans. It has been a long road for the various clans to get to this point. There has been a lot of struggle. But now we step forward into a more meaningful phase of the reconstruction of this city into a stronghold of the Camarilla. Now, it wasn't necessarily the intention of the previous Primogen Council, but we were not without our eyes and ears. And they have told us that discussions already happened, so let's get the first big matter settled. There has been discussion amongst yourselves, of course, as to who will hold the position of prince. Seems quite a bit. Therefore, I would ask anyone who wishes to run for the position to put themselves forward now.
Lavoisier will simply stand up and watch around the table. Who else will?
Darkon inclines his head. I wish you the best of luck. Will anyone oppose? Very well. Let us see if you have the support. I already have, and he looks towards the hand of the Nosferatu. I already have someone has posted in their vote, shall we say. And I will announce who they voted for. Is there anyone abstaining from the vote? No. Is there anyone opposing Primogen Lavoisier of Clan Tremere? Very well. Anyone wishing to support Primogen Lavoisier of Clan Tremere to become the Prince of Perth, please speak now.
I support him.
He is the most logical choice as the one with the most pertaining status within our sect. The Malkavians support him.
The Toreador also supports Monsieur Lavoisier.
Can I whisper you something, Gabriel?
You can whisper to the Archon if you want.
No, isn't actually you, Kevin. Not the Archon. I gotta ask you something.
You can put it in the side chat or PM me. But everyone's kind of looking at you at this stage because the Archon said he was going to say so. PM quickly.
In the meanwhile, while we're waiting, let's just make that bloody self-control.
Yeah. I do not believe you need to make a frenzy check. However, keep in mind that you hate them all. You hate them all. However, that was for not the Toreador or Primogen. She has to make a check. And then he just kind of goes, well, I have read the contents of this.
I was gonna also stand to vote for Lavoisier. I just had to check if I need to make a frenzy check over that.
Hannibal, as anyone puts his vote for de Lavoisier, will just look around the table and look a bit disappointed.
Well, it seems, given the letter I've received from the Nosferatu Primogen Valiente, on behalf of Hannibal, who transported it here.
I didn't want to interrupt you guys because I wanted to spend the willpower, but I didn't state it. And this is my role.
I think since you were asking about willpower points previously, you're holding it together for this turn with the expenditure of willpower point. You still have to accumulate 5 successes.
I know.
So we'll say we're going into the second turn. Are you spending a willpower point for the second turn?
Oh yes.
Can I get a roll on that?
Yeah.
What I think is a frenzy check since I'm a Brujah? I know what this looks like.
No, you're not really focusing on her. Unless you
Okay.
have a reason, you really wouldn't necessarily be focusing on her.
Because I was expecting her to stand up
For
for
the confusion of one or
Prince.
two of the people coming to side chat
Yes!
and one of them
Yes!
rolling up. How many successes? Okay, you got your yay. For the confusion of everybody watching, especially people in the side chat are going, what the hell? Somebody took thirst for innocence, and somebody else on the Primogen Council has sanctity. So whenever they're in the same room together, it's like frenzy check. So Primogen Council, sooner or later, Primogen Council meeting is going to get very interesting and very awkward for the Toreador. So the Archon, so I was like, okay. So we have full support, and he inclines his head respectfully. Mr. Prince, I should say, Prince de Lavoisier, would you like to take your seat?
Of course. Thank you everyone for the support. I will not forget this. Let's make this city into one of the greatest cities in Australia, no? And he proceeds towards the seat and stands in front of the seat, looking all around the table.
I believe your clan has selected a hand. Do you wish to relinquish the Primogen seat and let them act as Primogen pro tempore, or are you going to hold both titles?
No, I select Rafat to be my predecessor.
Very well. And the Archon will just a moment, and he'll take out a phone, and he'll fire off a text. And shortly after that, Rafat will come in, and he'll take the seat vacated by the Tremere Primogen. And he will incline his head. I am glad to join you all. Good evening, and congratulations, my prince. He'll take a seat. The Archon will say, well, with that I'll start backseat driving, but very discreetly. I might offer you some advice after this if you wish to have it, but by all means, this is your course. Do as you will.
If I may say, my prince, if you don't mind me interrupting, I think it's a good time for us all to thank the Archon for his sterling work and helping us come to this stage already. I would like to propose a round of applause for our dear Archon.
Indeed. And
Hannibal will just jump up and clap his hands.
Rafat will also have to clap just to like he'll try not able to do a level of enthusiasm with the guys, but he'll politely, and then the Archon will just kind of pinch his nose slightly, clearly not terribly amused, but
well,
he understands.
thank you very much, Mr. Pierce. However, after the thank yous and backslapping, we have to start forming the city and forming its court. So I will need somebody to address the city as such, not as my seneschal, but as a keeper of Elysium, and also as someone who will keep a rain check on the harpies. I have selected Grace Martin as my keeper of Elysium, also combined with the title of Herald in order to get the words out.
I will accept this duty.
Also, I have selected Clan Ruja as well as Clan Mercavion to produce the first two harpies in our community. Is to make sure status is importante. Furthermore, I wish to welcome the Ventru, although they have only a small supply of clan members, to the Primogen Council. They have presented themselves very well, and they will have to be allowed a seat. However, after this, there will be more selections made. I have made my choice of sheriff. My sheriff will be Eric Salvador.
I will make sure that he hears of it.
Très
I'm
bon.
sure he'll be quite pleased.
Also, I would like clan members, especially clans Nosferatu and Clan Gangrel, if they were here, to see if they want to present me with a suitable hound.
Hannibal clears his throat. I can't. I can only say that there are definitely members among the Nosferatu who will be well suited for this position, and as soon as Primogen Valiente is available again, he will make his suggestions to you, my prince, and to the sheriff, and I will advise him accordingly. I'm sorry.
Good. Thank you very much. Is there at this moment somebody who would already like to present themselves in front of their new prince?
Hannibal will again stand up. We didn't have yet the pleasure to meet my prince, so allow me to be here now to present myself. And he kind of steps forward and bows very deeply. Actually, goes on a knee with this small creature just dressed in rags and patchworks of cloth. Hannibal of Clan Nosferatu.
Good. Miss Martin, would you please take a note of the status of this gentleman?
Very well. Mr. Hannibal it was?
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be best if we meet in private sometime soon.
When you say that, Hannibal grins and just exposes his yellow, sharp teeth. Yeah, I would like that.
Rafat will be standing, and I will go towards the prince, allowing Hannibal, who is a little bit more eager, to go for him, but he will kneel as well. Prince Silivos here, I have served you while you were my hand, and then my Primogen briefly. You have always shown wisdom, and I have served you loyally. I will continue to do so in your capacity as prince.
I am not forgetting your loyalty, Rafat. As Prince, I can grant you things that I could not grant you before. Would you like to have anything for your loyalty?
I would not rush a decision. If it would please you, perhaps I could consider for a time.
You are considered, and you are given a boon. So you can select and know what you need and want later.
Thank you, my prince. And Rafat will go back to his chair, allowing others to present themselves.
Anyone else?
James Pierce will rise. He will use his telepathy to call forth his hand into the room. My prince, it is an honor to present myself to you, and with your permission, my hand would also like to say a few words. I'm sure he is peachy keen to meet you as much as I am.
I'm sure he is. But at this moment, I believe security prevents your hand from entering, as we are a Primogen Council.
Oh, that is a shame. Well, we'll have to wait until later. May I just say that Clan Malkavian is very happy at this appointment, and I have every faith that you will build this city into something truly marvelous to behold.
Indeed, we will remember. Thank you, Mr. Pierce.
James will return to his seat, but his eyes can't seem to not look at Hannibal, like intensely interested, or like watching a car crash. He's so disgustingly intrigued he can't not look.
Then he will see Hannibal returning his gaze and just licking his lips, what he thinks is seductively. Which looks quite disgusting.
We. Anyone else?
Sebastian would stand up and approach the prince. I know we've spoken briefly about the venture and their place within the city, but there's a particular individual I would, with your permission, would like to take under my wing as one of my children. I'm asking for the right to bolster the ranks of the venture.
Ah, you would like a child.
Indeed.
Well, as prince, I can allow that if I want to. What do you represent your prince? What does this new child think you will have to offer other than numbers for the event?
He
You have
is
to trust you can train him well, because the last Ventru in the city have found themselves wanting.
indeed my prince.
You have my permission to train a new Ventru under your wing. You have to take full responsibility, as is our law.
Thank you, my prince.
We will be tested, of course. Until then, you have the right for one new child Ventru.
Thank you.
Très bon.
Sebastian would take his seat.
Lavoisier will look around the room, knowing that there are only two more people who haven't spoken out yet. And he watches either Grace Martin or Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan will stand, move forward, and kneel with right hand upon chest at heart level. It is an honor, sir, to be here before you as the Primogen of the Bruja, and I will make sure that our ranks do not dwindle as they did when we took the city, so as to defend the city.
Très bon. Please take your seat, Mr. Taylor.
Hi, Prince.
I'm rolling perception empathy as we're fat because they were talking earlier and Taylor was acting weird. So he's trying to gauge his reaction to the situation at the moment. That is 3 successes.
Mhm.
You can roll a manipulation subterfuge to like mask your emotions. It's just you might
I
pick up on
don't
stuff.
want the.
You can try and hide it, or you can not try and hide it. That's your choice.
He's not hiding it. He doesn't want the prince's seat. He has all the power he wants right here, and no one's gonna take it from him. No. Bum bum
No,
bum.
you want more power. You want more power. All of the power. Not necessarily today, but you want it eventually. As soon as possible, because it's yours. They're all weak. They're all terribly weak.
They're all evil.
That too, obviously.
After Mr. Taylor has taken his seat again, Grace Martin also rises. He walks over to the prince. She bows as well. And she says, it's an honor to serve under you as the Keeper of Elysium. And with that, I would like to request that I can make an announcement. The announcement will be that if people would like to open an Elysium, that they should contact me, that I can check them out thoroughly, and then come back to you to share my results.
C'est bon? I think it is a wonderful thing.
I believe that the late Elijah Storm, the Count as he was known to many of us, had undergone some plans for an Elysium, and it's my understanding that Primogen Halliwell has care of some of the information. Perhaps this is something you could discuss. I would not want to see the late Elijah Storm's work be wasted.
At the earliest convenience of the new Keeper of Elysium, I'd love to have a chat.
Very well. And yes, you can roll perception empathy on that, because it's not very well. But I will try to mask it, so let me roll subterfuge there.
Alright.
If I may bring up actually, with the Archon would stand up, and here we go. Prince Lavoisier, I have duties that require me to continue in the city, and I hope to be leaving soon once your things are smoothed over in your court, but I hope you will be happy to have me here now, and I may have to drop in on future occasions. Perhaps I will be able to lend you some of my own experience.
Your wisdom is noted, and I will be happy to receive some of it.
The Archon will incline his head respectfully, a little bit more like you are. Yeah, it's kind of a weird relationship, especially since you're such a new prince. But he's showing you respect inside your before he returns to on the opposite end of the table. Once that is settled, if I may bring something forward to the Primogen Council.
But of course, please.
There was Archon Marquand asked Eric Salvador, who requested some of us to go with him. There is a autarchus of Clan Gangrel who lives in the area around Perth in the Yanchep Park. We went to speak with him and made some short-term arrangements until the Primogen Council could be assembled and decide on such matters. But I have a recording of the conversation we had at the time, and I would like to present it to the Primogen Council, plus a few pieces of my own thoughts on the matter, and as well, Primogen Taylor has had some dealings with this individual as well, and may be able to share his own insights.
Please record the message. Very interesting.
Fat will take out.
By the way, when I say that, people can roll for empathy to see if I already know or not know that this recording exists.
I already believe you know. I'm not rolling. You're a Tremere.
Why would I not? Well, no, not just a Tremere. He was a Primogen. Even if he didn't win the seat, he's going to find out anyway.
I'm going to roll for that, though.
Now, that will be 8 successes. Thank you very much.
I don't think I can counter that.
I only have 2. Damn you.
With your 8 successes, you'll pick up Rafat told him, but why wouldn't he? He was at least going to be sitting in this meeting anyway.
I have 5 successes.
Wow. Jesus, we get some high success people here.
Damn. I really feel. Well, never mind.
I got 1 success and a crappy roll, so everyone knows that I know that this exists.
Okay.
Rafat will play it. This is a scene we previously did. This Gangrel Autarchus. This is purely audio. And you can hear the recordings. And about 3 minutes into it, Eric Salvador's voice can be heard during the negotiations going, "Oh, Rafat, you should take this down." Which is kind of awkward because Rafat was already recording it. I was asking to see him, was like, yeah, just record. This is for the official part. They were negotiating a few things. There were areas delineated, which Rafat will take out a map and show where the areas were. One is where the brighter areas where no kindred should be hunting and they shouldn't enter lightly, and the inner areas you just shouldn't enter at all, or it'll deal with you effectively. In the short term, they were talking about that outsiders shouldn't necessarily be allowed in. That the outsiders shouldn't be allowed in. That, how to put it? He was speaking of that he had some children who occasionally visit, but they don't be visiting in a solitary manner themselves. However, you can hear at certain points wood being snapped and broken between claws and the beak. That he would want to meet with the prince of the city. He apparently didn't know that there wasn't one yet. To meet with him as an equal, because as far as he's concerned, he's been here before the city of Perth as it is was established. Never mind kindred showing up. So you're all squatters on his land, but he's got more than enough land to need. He apparently had a good relationship with the anarchs. Then Rafat will kind of checking his aura at the time when we initially encountered him, as we didn't know whether it would go towards combat. He bears a stain of diablerie. It is not recent. It is somewhat faded, showing time has progressed since. However, it is still there. As well as this, he appears to be on what are known to the Sabbat as paths of enlightenment. They are very heavily discouraged in the Cameron, for those who don't know.
They were called roads once upon a time, I was told. When it was older. Some of them predate even the Camarilla.
If he is on a philosophy of inhuman hunger, he is a threat to us all via the masquerade. There is a reason why the Camarilla insists on the via humanitas.
His form as well could be considered masquerade breach, but that is the way of some members of the Camarilla. That is understandable. That is why we make sure those people are encouraged to learn Mask of a Thousand Faces. But my opinion at the time was he should be dealt with. However, it was agreed that this be brought before the Primogen Council. For the short term, he is, as was stated in recording, Primogen Taylor would be a liaison with him, and if there's any problems with him reaching Primogen Taylor, that Eric Salvador would also interact with him. But I do find him concerning, especially when we spoke of the sects. He do not appear to have any love for the Camarilla. But though he tried to hide it, his feelings weren't exactly antagonistic towards the Sabbat that I picked up. I may be in error, but
I picked up nothing of the sort, Rafat, though it was clear that he did not trust the Anarchs or the Camarilla.
he in particular seemed to have a problem with Clan Tremere and Archon Marquand. And he frenzied attacking some trees during these periods, to put it bluntly. But perhaps, Primogen Taylor, you have further information for us you would like to share at this time?
What is the park's name? I can't remember off the top of my
Yanchep.
head. The park Yanchep that he is taking for his name at the time. All that he was asking for. I have good reason to believe that he would perhaps teach me some of the gifts of the blood that he knew. One called Protean, which would be of great benefit not only to myself but to the Camarilla, and having, since I do not believe our local Gangrel would teach such a thing. Last I spoke to him, he was opposed to that.
You would willingly drink that diaphragm's blood, Mr. Taylor?
At this point, Hannibal will actually kind of raise his voice. Well, judging from the information we have been given by Monsieur Defarge, I don't think his willingness to teach whatever power his blood might have should be too much of a consideration. This man sounds dangerous. Maybe even sympathizer with enemies.
Are all of us not in this room dangerous?
Not at all.
Taylor just looks around the room. We are all kindred. That makes us dangerous.
Yeah, but I don't live out in the
happily-
woods.
We are all Camarilla. We all adhere to certain traditions, rules, and guidelines. To all due respect to the Autarchus calling himself Yanchep, he stands outside the sect. He stands outside our society.
And therefore posing a threat to this new city.
Why must we see him as a threat? Why cannot we not see him as a resource to be used and perhaps later discarded? It has been done before, discarding independence.
I am not comfortable having a wild dog on our borders with my younglings running around. It will only be a matter of time before he bites the hand that feeds him.
At the
I
time,
can attest to that probably not being the case. He got very angry, and were he a Bruja, I would have said that he would have tried to kill us all there. And yet he didn't. He didn't hurt a single hair on any of our heads. But
This
he
time,
could have killed all of us.
there are a few things to be considered. Obviously, there are potential benefits and potential risks, but obviously, this city has a small Camarilla loyalist gangrel population. If it is our wish for that to grow, allowing this Autarchus, if he gives away the secrets and powers of their blood, might damage that relationship. There are a few gangrel left who hold true to the Camarilla. It might be in our benefits to potentially, given the wisdom of the prince, if that is the way he wishes to go, with the advice of his Primogen, to court them, to add their strength to our own.
if we allow this diablerist sucker, then we are creating a precedent.
Hannibal will raise an eyebrow to that, but not saying anything.
And isn't there also the masquerade to protect?
he would be a powerful foe to fight. This is something else to consider. He does have some animals which have been, I believe, ghouled, and he knows the territory quite well. It is possible that he could present quite the challenge even if outnumbered heavily. But my advice at the time was that he be removed. However, my position has not changed since. If anything, my resolve has hardened.
Can't we just pave over his territory during the day? Enough concrete will make him stay in the ground.
It is a large section of territory. A very large park. This is no small area.
We would also have to contend with dingoes, the size of which I have never seen, and I grew up in Australia, unlike all of you. They were the size of small ponies.
Animals can be dealt with, no matter their size.
Can we bind him before we... I mean, we're basically already planning a attack strategy here, but is there a way to bind him, to make him harmless, or maybe even reel him in eventually to join the Camarilla?
He stands as autarchus for a reason. He successfully did so while the Arcs are here. He has outsurvived them there. If he is to be believed, he has survived here for quite some time. Although it may be possible the costs might be higher than you'd like to pay.
Why don't we just starve him out? If he is feeding on the animals in the area, poison the area. Make it open season on dingoes. Eventually his blood supply will run out and he will either move on or be forced into the open where we can deal with him.
Potentially, however, if we were to go down that route, it could require an awful lot of attention and effort by various kindred that may be better suited elsewhere. But it is a idea, wouldn't be my first choice in the course of action, but there are many ways that it could be gone about. The question is how, in broad strokes, first will be dealt with. Will he be allowed to continue, or will he be removed in some fashion?
At this moment, Lavoisier has looked around the table as this discussion had gone on and kept quiet. I kept quiet because he wanted to listen what his court thought of what needs to be done, and clearly everyone can acknowledge the danger of it. And so the following words come out of his mouth. Gentlemen, my lady, I would like to presume that we all know that this individual is dangerous like no other we have here in this city, or at least close to our own wielding of strength and power. Therefore, I believe that we have an understanding that there is someone who is this contact with this gentleman, no? And he looks at Mr. Taylor.
Yes, Prince, I am his picked representative to speak with you.
Do you know why he picked you?
I would guess on the basis of being a low clan.
I think it will be on the basis of you being closer to one of his teachings, as the recording explains some bits of it. I'm willing to roll for that if necessary. So what I understand is that you are his voice in the city. his ears in the city, the one who will talk and let him know what has happened here in this council. No?
I would be a poor envoy if I did not.
Well, then again, you are mistaken, Mr. Taylor. An envoy works for the country he works for, not for the representing country he visits. Are you a visitor, Mr. Taylor, or are you a representative of the Camarilla?
I am the Primogen of Clan Bruja of Perth.
Good. Well, because you are a Primogen, this means that you are Camarilla. Which also means that you are here to serve the city, no?
I am to serve the city and the vampires within to the best of my ability. That is what being Primogen means.
Well, then I suggest you and Mr. Salvador are hereby elected to represent us, to relay messages. That's what you do. Relay this message that we have heard the offer and we are currently taking this offer into advisement.
Yes, Prince.
Bon. Well, I will contact Primogen individually to make sure that we are on the right track, to make sure we are doing the right thing. Your opposings and your positives has been noted. I will not make a decision right now, but I want to advise you to, at this moment, heed the words of Mr. Taylor and keep out of the region the gangrel hordes as of now. This does not mean that he is equal to the Camarilla on its own. This would be silly. It also means that we respect an elder of the clan Gangrel who has been here before us. Is this clear, my counter?
Oh, the Nosferatu will certainly respect that. Sounds reasonable.
Eventually, respect that.
Your
Clan
wishes
Bruja will
become
be
law, my prince.
Clan Bruja will be notified.
Tremere, of course, would respect this decision.
Yes, Toreador will also respect this decision.
Très bon. Is there anything else someone wants to put on this table right now? We have a lot of work to do.
Perhaps now should be the time that we speak of influence that we hold in this city.
Well, what a very good, a very good idea. At this moment, many of influence is held by the Archon. We respect the Archon for having this influence, for it has protected us. While we have faltered, it has had a hand above our heads. I expect this to be no more soon. The Archon will find different place that he has to watch. We respect this. Therefore, we must extend our fold. Places of influence under the ruling of this new prince myself, will need to take commands. At this moment, I understand that the Medicaid facility of the city at this moment has but one person who would like to dedicate his times and efforts and influence into this. And he looks at Mr. Pierce.
Well, for my humble efforts with that of my kinsmen, we have made modest efforts into the city's medical community with our beloved Primogen, my predecessor, now returning back to the old country. It seems a natural evolution that I and my clan take his place and provide the city and your princedom with solid influence in the medical community, my prince.
Well, this is very good. We will have need of this when we need to cover up things that might have happened when it comes to danger and bloodshed. Accidents must become accidents instead of attacks or something like that. I must expect from you that some of the records the kin will hold will disappear because of bad maintenance.
Of
So we
course,
can keep the masquerade in place.
the masquerade and also our beloved kind must be treated with the utmost respect. We all have retainers and allies within this city. It would be poor shepherds if we did not take care of our friends.
Très bon. But with this meeting, you get from me the you get the okay to outstretch a little bit to make sure that everyone in the Medicaid community can see it our way. This will mean that you have to connect with every single hospital in Perth if this hospital is within a domain of a coterie or a clear domain of another clan, then you must contact them first because you might need a liaison instead of doing it yourself. This will keep things in order.
You are most generous, my prince. I will make your wishes a reality.
Do not take my generosity for something I will not watch very closely, Mr. Pierce. But at this moment, you are our pawn when it comes to Medicaid. I will not forget this. Miss Martin,
Yes.
you possess a place which is inside the crown of Perth, no?
That is correct.
I am sure you have made sure that you get influence within the crown and within the high roller community of Perth.
I'm working on it.
I understand. This also means that you will need to get the celebrity into your folding, which means I expect influence from you when we need to raise something called a blood rave or something that is important, where names are more important than numbers.
I think I can arrange that, yes.
Très bon.
Might take some time though.
Of course, it is something a growing city needs, time. At the moment we have such thing, time. But I will come to check upon you to see what you've done for our city.
Also, my prince, I know that my clanmate, Mr. Salvador, is working on gaining influence in the industry. That way providing resources.
Yes, which of course his title as Master of Arms will be continued. even under my reign. And he may continue this, but I expect something to flow back into the chest of the prince to make sure that our continued economics flow freely. You understand?
I'm pretty sure that the two of you can work out an arrangement.
Thank you. Mr. Taylor,
I have under my sway a great amount of influence within the infrastructure of Perth. The building, the inspections, even getting a hold of building blueprints to change, alter, or lose, as it were.
well, it's very good to know. This is very much needed in a growing city such as ours. I expect you to continue this, as it were, but also look at mm, gaining influence in the parts of the city that is normally overlooked, the poor section. Not because I view your clan as poor, but I know that when it comes to a street level performance of your clan, you're well known to reap from their ranks.
One second. So that's a 9, a 7. That's 2 successes so
You're
far.
holding onto it for the first turn. Roll for the second turn. You've got the beast under control.
Yes, Prince, as you say, into the poor section of town shall I go hence.
C'est bon. You will understand that you will have to work with Nosferatu because I expect them to hold more influence in what I would call the underground security of the city. They are known as the information brokers. I want to see what they can do with their defense of their sewer city.
And certainly, my prince, we will live up to our reputation.
I understand. Also understand that at this moment, because you are here instead of your Primogen, I expect to meet him to make sure that he will be present next time we visit. Not because I do not trust you, Mr. Hannibal, but because I want to meet everyone face to face, and I have not yet had a chance to meet your Primogen.
Oh, that's a shame. He's a nice guy. I will lay close to his heart to seek you out as soon as possible.
Mr. Halliwell, I will
Sir?
allow you, of course, to hold reign over that which you already had something of, which will be the financial district. However, once again, I must ask that you come and visit me in private to make sure that all the benefits it reaps for dawdling in money will be spent to good use, so I might support other clans with the money reaped.
That's my prince request.
Is there anything else somebody wants to bring to the table?
Just a pleasant reminder to Mr. Taylor, if I may, that there might be some influence that we will have to share over the realm of infrastructure in the city. No offense, really. But I hope you understand that we will need certain parts of it to rebuild the city in a way that we can make it secure from attacks underground.
Mr. Hannibal, if I may intercede, Mr. Taylor. Mr. Hannibal, at this moment, orders have been given. If you want to work with Mr. Taylor, of course you have my permission. But as it stands right now, the fact that you are here instead of your Primogen gives Mr. Taylor the first hand when it comes to the lower parts of the city instead of the Nosferatu. This is the cost you bring when you are not represented. I expect that this would change, maybe, because I am sure that Mr. Taylor would rather go deeper into the infrastructure. However, at this moment, I see a lot of Primogens, except on your part of the table.
Hannibal will look down on his feet and then back up to the prince. Of course, my prince, I didn't mean to be insulting. Oh, of course.
We will proceed as my orders were given.
If I may, it seems like this matter is finished. There are a few waiting some of the hands and some of the other members of the court who I believe would like to present themselves to you once we finish this up, if you have the time to spare to meet with them now, my prince.
Well, I was hoping to do this presentation later, when all the others are presented. But since Mr. Pierce has made it such a well introduction into Mr. His Calamity hand. What was his name again? I'm sorry.
It's Leon, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Leon Harris, if I presume right. I have met the gentleman. I will allow this. If it's quick, we have much to do.
Please.
The Archon will speak, seeing as your meeting is wrapping up. I'd like a quiet side word with Lady Martin and Primogen Taylor.
Very well. That's fine. Also, before we wrap this up entirely, I was taking notes, as I probably should do by now. But I missed the influence that Clan Tremere will uphold at this point. And also, I'm kind of worried about some of the influence spheres that the Inventor used to hold, like the media. I think that's an important one to make sure that it stays under control.
To be fair, Miss Martin, it was never asked of me which influence I actually control. But as the prince requests, I'll do as he asks.
Well, I understand Miss Martin her concern. The Bruja, the Ventru have always held the media. However, since they are so thinned out, and with the task Mr. Hallowell has in raising another, I do not want to give him more trouble. He already has the financial district to worry about.
To be fair, my prince, I do control areas of media, high society, and bureaucracy at a fairly decent level.
Then technically you're saying that you would rather have the media than the financial district. Is it correct?
I'm saying I can do both. It's not that much you're asking.
I am saying you cannot. Therefore, you can change to the media and the Tremere will also take the financial district. We will also be focusing on the protection of the city, Mr. Martin. The Justice Department and the bureaucracy of City Hall will be viewed upon by the Tremere. I know this will have a big task at hand, but at this particular moment, it needs to be done. Therefore, I will talk to the Archon, of course, who already holds part of this, and I will have to ask his advice.
Will this be by the Tremere, or will this be by you personally?
No. This will be handled mostly by myself and Mr. Duta.
Mm-hmm.
So it will be the Tremere instead.
I see.
But if you want honesty from me, Miss Martina, understand.
Well,
Personally, I will focus more upon the security, on the city hall, which means that anything started and something that needs to be built, requisitions that needs to be made in order to build our city, will come through me first. You understand?
Of course, and for your understanding, it's not that I want to know everything, it's that it's now my job to know everything.
I understand, and it is so noted. It is not considered a scorn for your asking of information. I simply want this city to be a pearl of Perth. Something the Camarilla can look at and say, this is how it must be done. We have just you have just stopped a war. We have finished the war. Now we are here at this table with many a liberator. I think our fighting is partially done and new parts we need to continue. Infrastructure, healthcare, a proper representative within our sewers and transportation, as well as we need to reform some class and influence, as well as make sure that everything and anything is controlled within the media is controlled by us. This is what we must do, and this is what I ask of you all.
I would like it noted that you spoke neither of the fire department, the ambulance companies, nor the police.
As I have as I have reason to believe at this moment, the fire department is under the rule and control of the uh, healthcare, and it is joined also by City Hall. Therefore, it's a joint situation because I believe those things come together when crisis happens. This will have to be a joint effort.
And what I relish. It'll be an honor to work with you and yours.
I am very glad to see we have someone so keen in healthcare. In the long run, we need the population of Perth to grow, and for that, we need good healthcare. Someone who is very so keenly motivated will help towards that. The city will grow and populate. It's one of the areas we need. Someone as focused as yourself, Primogen Pierce.
Well, Primogen Dutta, you are what you eat.
True enough.
My prince,
Yes,
might I make a suggestion?
of course.
As for the justice influence, wouldn't it be wise to let the new sheriff also have some influence within the justice, in the police?
Well, this is something I've considered, of course, and I know the sheriff will want influence, but at this moment, seeing as he already wants to wield influence in business, I think because the sheriff answers to the prince, he will have to need to come to me for some answers, and I will see if the city can deliver. I will consider sharing this influence with the Toreador, because you represent him, I understand. But as of this moment, I think his hands are full.
I think that he's in need of a challenge, but I must have
Challenge?
misunderstood something then, because I thought that the justice would fall under Clan Tremere, and at this point you would therefore make the sheriff fall under Clan Tremere. But now you're saying that you hold the justice influence. Please, I'm confused.
You are confused. Let me help you clarify this a little bit. You can clearly hear some scorn, because this is something he's very passionate about. This city will grow, rule, and have influence under the new prince. Everything that is done, everything that will rebuild it, either it is influence or simply monetary funds, will reflect on me as prince and you as council. Do not misunderstand the fact that I give away influence to me relinquishing power. We, as a whole, run this city, but do not forget that at this moment, the prince rules the council. Now, if you are not happy with this construct, wait till you see it flourish. I know that me, with your trust, will have a many challenge to face. But do not doubt me before I can get started. Things will happen in this order and no other order. If you, in the coming time, will get the idea that your prince is failing, let me know. We are here to make the city grow, not to view its influences as such. Miss Martin, I understand your concerns of this now, but understand that at this moment, the things you talk about are in the hands of the Archon. Would you rather have us, as a city, get these influences, these contacts, or would you like to speak to the Archon about how things should be divided?
Well, I was not the first to bring this up, or I wouldn't have done this in the first place. I was just wanting to make sure that I got everything correctly. Thank you very much for your explanation.
I like the fact that you are as passionate as Mr. Pierce. However, there are so many things that needs to be done. So I ask of you again, all of you. I want to make sure that everything is right. If you have questions later, please do not hesitate to talk and come visit me or connect to Rafat to make an appointment. I will be around. As of now, you all have your ideas of what you can and must do and what I expect of you. This is a beginning city. Let us flourish instead of bicker. I will speak to all of you individually to make sure that everything is correctly done and interpreted. If there is nothing else, I would like for all of you to tell your kinsmen that I will be holding an Elysium probably this week and or the beginning of next week, where every single kinsman can represent himself and ask what he wants from his prince, or simply make sure that I remember why he is in this city. Mr. Hannibal,
Yes, my prince.
a special note to your clan. I need to see your Primogen, because we have something to discuss. Within your ranks, there is one known Diablerist. I want to make sure that we understand completely that diablerie is not tolerated. Now, because I have the highest respect for the Archon, I will not simply ask for a bloodhound. However, of course, we must talk, because you and your clan now represent a stain in this city. And I want to make sure that this stain is well taken care of.
Hannibal will nod. Yes, I understand. I will contact Valiente immediately if I can. I think we already have. The clan already has made some decisions about that. Or not decisions, but suggestions.
That's why I want to hear these suggestions from your Primogen.
Yes, my prince.
If this is all, I would like to see if security can bring in Mr. Harris for his presentation of himself.
At this point, with the meetings over, the Archon says, Primogen Martin, Primogen Taylor, if you would.
Yes.
Now, he'll hand over some notes towards Lady Martin. I have a pair made for whoever from Clan Brugia will be representing in time, as well as my own, but these are the boons I have been notified of so far. As you'll note here, Primogen Taylor owes me 4 major boons. Watches these change into 4 major boons from Primogen Taylor. I'm using one of them for you to agree for 3 of the major boons to be 3 major boons from the Primogen of Clan Brugia. You cannot deny this. You look confused. I do not have faith. He's saying this quite clearly in front of the entire Primogen Council. I do not have faith in the longevity of your political career. You cannot deny this. Good evening.
Oh dear.
That'd probably want to be a frenzy check.
Oh, that's a pretty check.
Yes, I
Good guy.
expected one.
Writing this out very
Well
quickly.
played.
For the record, I'm calling that public humiliation.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
So that will be 8+.
1.
Memory serves.
Blood buffing.
Is that 8 for a normal person or
That's
for a brutal?
10. It's difficulty 10
It's
for
difficulty
Bruja.
10, you failed the first roll you're frenzying.
Yep. Straight in frenzy.
So you didn't blood buff, you were making a frenzy check. So we're rolling initiative.
Here we go again. Fuck.
Let's see.
Perth, the most violent city ever.
Holy shit, this is more violent than the Sabbat. Like, we don't
Oh god.
Yes, if only Cameron, you did have the invitation. So roll your
Oh
initiative.
yes.
So 5
no.
plus 6 plus 2 is 8, so 13.
3 plus 5. Oh, shit. That's 14 for Mr. Pig.
Everybody doesn't have to roll.
Okay.
I'm not going to roll initiative.
Just in case.
I'm rolling to get the fuck out the way, bro.
Yep. Hannibal will move as soon as fighting starts, or someone goes in frenzy to a nice dark corner of the room and stay there.
Yes, I are heartbeat. Let's do this.
Okay, so those who actually want to do anything other than just stab it, because the Archon and the invisible people against
Fucking 22, the shit.
Well, it you know, he may have blood puffed in the previous turn. So, who else is actually planning on doing anything other than go defensive action or oral? Fuck, he's screwed.
I'm planning to do something.
Okay, anybody else?
Jim Smith is gonna obfuscate and get the fuck out.
Come on, push
Well,
it.
like, I can just imagine just a little note being picked out of the pocket as he obfuscates, just like left the table. Bam. Right.
I'm gonna watch though.
Lady, actually, is it Lady Pierce or Lady Pierce is at 11?
No, it's Lady
So Lady Pierce has to
Martin
declare
and
first.
Pierce.
What is Lady Pierce declaring?
First of all, it's Lady Martin. I'm not married yet to him. Nor am I planning to, by the way. You never know how it's gonna end. Well, I was actually planning to use Majesty to make sure that he won't attack this round.
He's frenzying. I don't think that's gonna really do it.
Maybe if I roll high enough.
Majesty can at least guarantee that.
He won't
I won't attack her.
She's nice, not like this fuckers.
Well, at least it can help. Correction to the previous statement. It can help to make sure that there's more tempting targets then.
You are frenzying, Stoneheart.
I am buffing my dex. I am using Potence and Celerity, and I am trying to take...
No. You can use Celerity and Potence, or you can buff your dex and use Celerity. You are not a low enough generation to do all these things.
Potence and Celerity, and I'm going to try to take a bite out of the Archon.
Well, you're going to have to do a grapple roll, and then Celerity actions will be biting. He will... How many Celerity actions do you have?
2, sir.
2. Okay. Right, so... he is going to do a full defensive action. So you get to roll. Roll your attack.
May I declare my action?
Oh, sorry. Declare your action, yes.
My action will be to use movement of the mind to pick him up and put him against the ceiling so he can hurt the ceiling. For I will not have some fighting in my court.
Oh, that's very good.
To fuck around with his celerity actions. Because you can have celerity actions fighting the fucking ceiling.
Well, yeah, okay, he will, however, he got 13, so he'll get his go before you will.
Yes, he can have the first hit on the Archon. That's okay, I cannot stop that.
So you get to roll your, is it Dex plus Brawl what you're doing, I believe?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's using his. So roll your attack.
One success.
And then there's his defensive roll. Four successes. He avoids your attack.
Yep.
Then, Mr. Lavoisier, what level of it are you using?
4.
4. So that's going to be difficulty 7 willpower check.
Yeah, that's okay.
And I only need one success?
No, the Archon got 4 successes to
No, I mean to not go flying.
I'm not sure if you can defend against this.
Yes, I
Doesn't
believe
make
you
you
can make a
levitate.
willpower roll to not be lifted up in the air.
Let's check it.
Is that against my roll?
Probably. Well, I'm gonna check it. Hold on a second. It's not a particularly big section. But yeah. So okay, moving to the mind. Made indicates the duration of the caster's control. Each success lasts one turn of manipulation, though the kindred may attempt to maintain control after time by making a new roll. If the roll is successful, control is maintained. The automator loses or relaxes control of an object. If the roll is used to manipulate another being, the subject may attempt to resist. In this case, the caster and the subject make opposed willpower rolls each turn the control is exercised. So I think it's going to be the same difficulty. So it's both difficulty 7 willpower check for both of you.
Oh, that's a crappy roll.
Oh, look at that.
So, you're moving up to mine. Unfortunately, his rage is too much for you. Then we're going to celerity actions. The Bruja, unfortunately, did not succeed in grappling, so you're not really going to be able to bite properly.
Alright.
He's going to stake your ass repeatedly. So, first roll, difficulty 9, obviously staking for the heart. Okay, that's hitting. And that is 4 lethal damage. You don't have any armor. You're just rolling stamina.
Yeah.
Oh wait, oh no, you don't get +1 for the heart, do you? Not when you're staking. So roll your soak.
Isn't the stake difficulty 4 to use? Because it's close to a decker.
No, it's difficulty 9 to hit. It's difficulty 6 to wound. He's onto the wounding.
Okay.
Because he has no defensive action, he's fencing. He's like, ah. So what is Mr. Taylor's soak roll?
Taking the heart is 9. Okay, cool.
Yeah, to hit, and then it's difficulty
So
6. So yeah, he just kind of frenzy. He dodges your attack and then just stake.
Doesn't he have to do
He
double
did
my
3.
stamina?
No, he has to do 3 points of lethal damage to your heart.
Okay.
And that's what he did. So it's just he moves out of the way, stake, and then he turns back to Lady Martin as he falls on the floor. So that is using 1 major boon to convert 3 of his major boons from himself to recognize his boons by the Rouge Primogen. He does not have the temperament for the position. And he steps over Mr. Taylor and walks towards the prince. I think that one might give you some trouble.
Well, I'm very, very, very sorry that this has to happen at this moment. I will have to deal with it. You will have to excuse his behavior. You are still very welcome in my eyes. Thank you for showing whelps what happens when you attack an elder.
It is not always just those things, but in my time in here, of course I will remove them in time, but I have many eyes and ears in the city, and, well, you'd be interested to hear some of the things I hear, and I'll share some of them with you in time. But he might be able to turn things around. He just looks towards the temporarily torpid corpse. Good evening. And with that, he walks out of the room.
Indeed. Well, this was unfortunate.
Jesus. Nosferatu steps out of the corner again.
Right. Interesting.
Everybody's so violent. It's just so unnecessary.
I have to agree with you, Mr. Halliwell. So very unnecessary. Rafat, be it dear and get some of the what's it called? A coffin here.
Very good. I shall see to it at once, and Rafat is going to move off to deal with that.
Let me guess. Pack him, send him back to the Bruja?
No. No. I think the Bruja will get the message. I have to speak to the Bruja to make sure they elect a new representative.
Ooh. Halliwell kind of shirks at that. Like, ooh. They're still in the jail.
Hannibal will step forward for a moment. My prince, seeing this meeting is probably over, may I take my leave now and inform my Primogen of your decisions?
Yes, you may.
Thank you very much. And he nods to the remaining Primogen in the council. Hope I'll see you again. My greetings, good night. And with that, he will just leave the scenery.
Well, I think with your permission, my prince, I will leave as well. I think I have a lot to do in these upcoming nights.
Yes. Would you be so kind to inform Mr. Salvador? I might have some work for him.
I will inform him of his new position, and I will send him to you immediately, as soon as I get word in with him. Anyway, I will bid you all a good night.
At this moment, the prince will lean back into his chair as he was looking forward to seeing Mr. Harris, who has had many pleasant conversations with. But time wants difference. He will wait for Rafat to return in order to put the body of Mr. Taylor into a coffin to be brought to the chantry.
Not able to whip up coffins on the fly, Rafat will be coming back with a rather large suitcase, because it's hotel, not a undertaker's. But he'll be able to come back with one, and with a little bit of bending, the Bruja Primogen should be able to fit in. And as he's bending, he was like, "Sorry about this, Taylor, but can't just carry you out here in this state. A little bit of a chance, and you calm down. See sense in the matter."
Can't I hear like everything
Yes,
that's going on?
You can.
Yes, you can.
You can. And Rafat is trying to be nice because you're freaking the hell out. But he's making sure that stake is nice and firmly put in. And then he'll, once he's got him in the briefcase, he'll put it up on the table carefully. And then he'll turn around. He is secured for our exit.
At this moment, the prince will call for his own security and look at Mr. Halliwell to make sure that he's okay, that he knows that his prince is leaving. Until next time, gentlemen. And he will walk along with Rafat and be picked up by security detail.
Very well, we'll end the scene there. Some of those who are waiting, it seems we'll just have to wait for another day. The unusual end circumstances might have the prince in some kind of foul mood, or perhaps he has some plans for the current Bruja Primogen.